when I was in school, right, I stayed in this hostel place. So, in the first 2 years of my, or first year rather, my school career, I stayed in like general hostel. The second or the last 3 years after that, I moved into like an apartment. So either ways, both places, but let's mostly focus on the apartment side of my story, right? So I was in this house, like this apartment, right? It was like a house, so different. We all had our apartments. Like many people were living there. Call them housemates or roommates, whatever. So there were probably like how many of us? So me, probably like 7 of us. Yeah, probably 7 of us. Plus sometimes their friends will go and visit, come and visit, right? So maybe some of our housemate, their friends will come over, they'll spend a night or two, or they'll spend a few days, whatever. So, but let's just on average, we were about 6 or 7 of us, right? And 5 of us were boys. 2 of them were girls, and all. Right. So, long story short, anyways, all these boys, all of us, they were. It doesn't even matter if they were boys or girls, right? They were all basically average people. Like they would just wake up in the morning at a random time, carry their phone and scroll TikTok or Instagram, YouTube, whatever. After that, they will spend like maybe after they wake up, spend like another 1 or 2 hours in bed. They finally get up. They won't really do anything productive. Can't find something to eat. Just lazy around. Sit around and really do nothing. Maybe go out to class or whatever. Come back in the evening, find something random to eat, buy junk food, eat. Spend time just gisting and chatting about random shit. Then spend more time on their phone, watch a movie, whatever. Go and sleep like 3 a.m. Wake up the next day and repeat the cycle, right? But I was on a little different path than that. So obviously sometimes I still live my life like that, but I was a little different, right? So my own is I would wake up like there was a period that I was waking up like 4, 5 a.m. So I wake up like 5 a.m., 5 to 6. I'll literally go out of the house for a run. I'll go and jog, right? So go for a run. I also had my skateboard at that time. So after I run, jog a little, I'll use the skateboard to continue like the cardio section. After that, do a few push-ups, do like 100. After doing all that, I'll come back home. So it's now 6 a.m. Everywhere's getting bright, right? I'll like sweep my room, clean my room, arrange everywhere, make everything clean. I'll write down my goals. I'll like visualize about the future. I'll journal, I'll meditate, I'll exercise and all that. After that, I'll like, go and get ready, dress up, take a bath, take a shower, whatever. So I'll leave the house. After that, I'll wake up, I'll leave the house, go to this library place, go and walk, spend all day there, either studying or working on my YouTube channel or journaling or writing, doing whatever productive stuff, right? Now come back in the evening and, record some videos again, like till around 7 p.m. thereabouts. Okay, maybe then find something to eat, maybe watch a little bit of YouTube, then I'll go and sleep like 10, 9, 10, 11, go and sleep and wake up the next day by 5 and repeat the cycle. Obviously, it wasn't like this every single day, but there were a lot of days of it like this, right? So, on average, you definitely say I was the more productive one, right? Like, for sure. But here's the interesting plot twist. I was basically the brokest of them. Like, the brokest, most miserable, like I had no money at all. Like out of everybody, I was like the one that was the most down bad in terms of money. And even in terms of well they say friendships, relationships, like some of them had girlfriends, they were going on dates, these that girls they had boyfriends going on dates. Like I had nothing, like literally nothing. I was busy beating my meat and checking. So you find it interesting, but this is not about that. The point I'm trying to make is like you would think that, and by default, everybody would think that it's the guy that is, waking up 5 a.m. to go on the rounds and do the push ups and read and journal and meditate. Is the one that is supposed to be successful, while the other people that, are living like idiots, they are not, right? But like, if it was so, why was it not the other way around for me, right? How come I did all these good things for, pretty significant period of time? I didn't, like I said, I didn't do it every day, I didn't do it forever. But at least for a reasonable significant period of time, like I was literally reading books, like I would take my money. I was supposed to use to buy food, random food or whatever garbage, and literally save up this money and go and buy a book and read that book from the beginning to the end, cover to cover. And after I finish reading the book, I would like bring out my notes and write down points I've learned or ways I can use to go like things I learned that found interesting. And maybe a few days or few weeks or few months later, I'll pick up that same book and read it again, cover to cover. So like, how come someone that was doing all that was still broke as fuck? Right? The other guys absolutely did none of that. They were, like obviously they were not rich, but at least they were making like reasonable money. Right? They were still broke, were pretty much all broke. But at least they were pretty much further ahead. And even when we go to my class, if we step out of my house, right, like the place I lived, I will go to my classroom because I was in the university. A lot of my classmates, like these guys, some of them were rich as fuck. Like when I say rich, I mean rich. Obviously, rich is subjective, but basically they were rich. Some of them literally had like cars, like the fancy Benz, Mercedes, Lexus, like have that much money, and none of these guys woke up early. None of these guys went for a run. None of these guys did push-ups. None of these guys read books. So why is it right? I started to really feel bad. But the thing is now is like I was focused on the wrong things. I was focused on the wrong thing. The thing is like the first thing I want us to discuss here is like locking in. Like when you say, oh, locking, focus. I kind of find that as bullshit, honestly. I kind of find it to be a lie, right? Because the reason why I say so is like the narrative we all have in our head is okay, you want to lock in. So basically, that type of life I just described, that's the type of life you live. But the thing is, that is not locking in. That is not being narrative. So if we're going to assume the end goal is money, right, to make as much money as possible, right, as fast as possible, that is not locking in. You're not fucking locking in. Locking in is actually doing the series of activities and actions that are going to bring the money. That is locking in. So, for example, if my skill, my thing, my hustle, my business model was making YouTube videos, right? So if I did all of that, but I didn't make the videos, or if I did all of that, so I didn't make the videos consistently, or I did all of that, so I didn't improve on the videos, but I just busy wrote plans and journaled and this, like, it's basically the same thing, right? It's literally basically the same thing. So it's like I'm not here to say that you shouldn't look in the problem is like a lot of us we focus like so much on the the locking in than the thing itself, right? Like I'm finding it difficult to even explain because it's like how would I put this now? How would I put it? What's a good way? So good way I would say it, right? So I was doing all these habits, I was doing my push-ups and reading my books and all of that. But I had like routines or journals like columns, rows and columns that's okay. This YouTube channel upload 3 videos this week. This Instagram thing I'm doing, upload 5 videos. This thing I'm doing, send 3 messages to people on Instagram, and so on and so forth. And if you look at all those columns, most like 9 out of 10 times it was just X. I didn't do any of them for weeks, days, weeks, or even months at a time. I basically did none. Like imagine maybe out of 3 months, I managed to do like 4 days, that kind of stuff. The 4 days, not like I even did 100%, maybe 10% of it, right? But the funny thing is, after that, I'll create another plan again and just wake up early and go and jog. And so it's like, if the goal is money, yeah, like the most important thing is to just do the work, like just literally do the work, right? The reason why I'm going to maybe I'll still make another video to explain this in more detail, but it's like a lot of us have these mindsets of monk mode, locking, get focused, which is good, but it's like you miss the whole point. The whole point is just to work, right? Because it's like you can become successful just like those my classmates and housemates as well. You could literally make money while going to sleep by 3 a.m. every night because you were up all night watching a movie. Like you could still make money. It sounds wrong, it sounds like contradictory to this our whole self-improvement, make money, success ecosystem, but you could do that and still become successful. You could literally make money and be going for parties every weekend. You could literally, because I had friends that did that. You could literally like be making significant amount of money and still be playing video games every single day. Because I had friends that did that. You could literally be making significant amount of money while eating junk food. You could literally be making significant amount of money while just wake up, first thing you grab your phone and spend 3 hours on TikTok. You could. Why? Because after these people did all these, quote unquote bad habits, they still actually did the activities that was going to bring the money to them. So it's like it doesn't matter the amount of bad habits they do, as long as the core thing is there, which is the activity that's going to bring the money. Like that's the most important part. So my goal for you is like, how do I put it? If you want to lock in, you want to become successful, you want to be rich. It's like don't focus so much on waking up early and doing push-ups and eliminate all the habits. That's what, so if you watch all these videos, that's what they would say. It's not about addition, it's about elimination. I disagree with that shit. I low-key disagree with that shit. Because the problem is like you become so focused on the unnecessary things, right? It's like instead of it to just actually do the work, I was going to make you the money, right? You'll be trying to wake up early and like for example, you say, okay, I'm going to wake up at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning you end up not waking up at 3 a.m. You feel bad that I didn't wake up, I'm a loser. So because like you basically will not do the work, so the whole day is just gone. Then the next day again you want to wake up 3 a.m. So you still don't do the same thing again. Like, I couldn't wake up, then that day is also gone as well. And maybe one day randomly wake up at 3, okay, if we do a little bit of work. Then, the other days you just don't. Before you know, 2 months has gone by, your focus has been waking up on 3 by 3 a.m., not actually doing the fucking work, right? Or you want to stop, let's assume you used to watch a lot of porn. That's what I start to say. Well, let's assume you used to watch a lot of porn. You used to spend so much time on your phone or scroll social media and goon and watch all these hot girls on Instagram, whatever. Right? It's like obviously I'm not like it's in deep. Don't get the message wrong. The message is not to say that all these things are right. The message is like you can still become successful while doing all these things because those are not like the constraints. You want to focus on the constraints. Let me check. It's still recording, but it's about to stop. We want to focus on the constraints because the constraint is the most important things, and a lot of these things are not the constraint yet, right? Yet, the most important constraint at that point is just doing the work that is going to generate the money. So if you do everything else that is not that work, like it doesn't make sense. So a good example of this is imagine a car. Car is driving on the road, right? All the tire pops. So let's say one of the tire pops, right? So you bring the car to a stop, right? Because the tire pops. What is the constraint in that moment to make this car continue to move? It is the tire that popped. Imagine after you stop the car, you go ahead and you wash the car. Okay, the car is cleaner. Okay. After that, you fill it up with gasoline or petrol or whatever thing the car uses. So you charge the battery with an electric car. Okay, now the car is fully charged or fully filled up to the brim. You will then go to like add modifications to it, like you give it a nice exhaust and you add like wide body kits or whatever. Okay, now the car looks badass, but the car is still not moving. After that, you're gonna change all the seats, you put like seat covers. Okay, car looking much more better. After that, you open the engine and you tweak a few things so you give the engine more horsepower. Oh, now the car is really, but it's like you could do all these things, but if you do not fix that tire that blew, the tire that got flat, like it doesn't matter, the car is still not going to move. Is after you have fixed that tire, because that tire is a constraint. So once you fix that tire, then you can start thinking, okay, what's the next thing I can do to make this car faster? Okay, let's get a better engine. Okay, let's fill it up with gasoline. Okay, let's edit the wide body kit so it becomes more aerodynamic or whatever bullshit. So it's like that's the point. That's the whole idea of what I'm trying to make. Like, don't get lost in the unnecessary stuff. Like let for me just keep living life the way you're living it. The only thing you just want to do now is just find time to do the work. Right? You don't need to wake up earlier, you don't need to go and sleep later, you don't need to, stop spending all day. Like at a point you to get to a time where you absolutely need to stop doing these things. But right here, right now, that is not your problem. Just find time in your day, whether it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 45 minutes, and do it. So practical way I'll put this. Okay. So practical way I'll put this is let's assume for example now, let's say you work 0 hours. Right? Then when you go to let's say when you're eating your food, right? So instead of just eating the food and watching YouTube or watching a movie as you're eating, instead you walk. So as you're eating, you walk on your laptop. And let's assume eating takes you 15 minutes on average. 15 and you eat 3 times a day. That's 45 minutes. All of a sudden now you're walking 45 minutes more. So then you look again, okay, when you enter the bus to go to school, so just to listen to music, that takes 5 minutes, to 2 hours. Let's assume you spend 30 minutes the whole day, that's extra 30 minutes of working. Like, so you can see how it's already building up and your life hasn't really changed. Then the more time you need to work, the more things you now start to remove. That's when you start to consider waking up earlier or going to sleep later or stop doing this habit or doing to like you first deal with the constraints before you start looking at this other random thing. Because if you do everything else but that constraints, it doesn't matter what you do, you will not get to your destination.